Hello and welcome to Tutorials again. I don't know why I keep saying again. It's a thing I do. Welcome to After Effects, and today we're going to be doing some titles, some teleporting titles. Something like this. Ooh. Doesn't that look awesome? So it just goes magic. Yeah, so let's jump straight to it with a new project. Okay, so we've made a new project and I've just imported just some fire effects. This is not necessary, it just makes it look a lot nicer. So what I've got here is just some fire doing that. It doesn't look, it's just a bit of fire, doesn't need it. It's not, no biggie. So I'm going to make a new comp, right click new comp, and I'm going to stick with my settings. So I've got 1920 by 817, which I've realised is an anamorphic aspect ratio, so it looks like a film. And I'm going to stick with 23.976 frames per second, and I'm going to just bring this down to 10 because I don't need it that long. So there we go. It looks like a big film. Okay, so new text. I'm just going to do text. I just got a text. That is good timing. I got a text as soon as I wrote the word text, and it was a blank text. I feel so alone. Okay, so I'm going to center this text up by getting up the titles and actions safe grid, and just going to move it so it's in line with the cross, the center of it. Oh, I got another text. Oh, I missed apparently. Okay. So we now have our text. Now, what we want to do is make the text appear that it's to be teleporting. Ooh. So we're going to highlight the text, go to Effect, distort, liquify. Okay, so we're going to pinch our text. So we're going to, or pucker, as it likes to call it, in the liquify tool tab thing. So, let's just increase our brush size a little bit, a bit more, and increase the pressure. Under pressure, there we go. So now it has some awesome weird crunching up thing. So that's all you need to do. Don't have to do it all the way so it disappears, that's fine. You can leave that how it is. Now here is the distortion percentage. If you increase that, it will go even further, and then we can cut it just as soon as it gets to a certain point. So we can go like that, there we go. Oh, excuse me, I'm all burpy today. Right, let's do some keyframing. So for 1 second, it's fine. And then I'm going to hit U just so I can see my keyframes. And then I'm going to go press page down. Let's just say 5 frames. And I'm going to do it all the way to 200%. And then I'm going to press Alt, bracket, square bracket, the bracket that's closest to the Enter key. I'm going to zoom in with the plus key. Oh, so many commands. And I'm going to see how that looks. So I'm going to zoom out and press. You can press B and N to set those points. So I'm going to press 0 to render that. Oh, that looks pretty good. So let's see how that looks like with motion blur. I'm going to press F4 to bring up that motion blur tab. Ooh, doesn't that look nice? Oh, that looks good already. Now we can enhance this motion blur to make it seem more blurry, if you will, with a radial blur. So, Effect, Blur, CC Radial Blur. Very easy. And we're gonna just I'm gonna center. I center it at the point where it seems to shrink in. I'm gonna change it from scratch to fading zoom, and then I'm going to press U so I can see my keyframes. Hold Shift and it'll automatically go to the keyframe that you're the nearest one. I'm going to press U again just so I can see my keyframes. I'm going to go along a few. I'm going to increase the zoom amount so it does a nice looking blur effect. So I'm going to render this. Oh, there we go. So now it looks like it comes out almost, and then just starts to shrink in. So if we ram that, it looks nice, doesn't it? Now, to make it seem like there's some crazy energy going on, we can add a glow. But before we add a glow, we want to be in 32 bits. So Alt, click, click. That will set the comp to 32 bits. You can also press Alt K. I think it was, nope, it was I can't remember where it is. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But oh, I found it. In the project settings, you change the depth to 32 bits. Okay, so there we go. So that way, it gets rid of banding with blurs and glows, which is not a good thing. I just punched my keyboard. Ow. So let's add that glow. So go to Effect, Stylize, Glow. That's beautiful. But I've had a better idea. Let's delete that and then put it to an adjustment layer. So right click, New Adjustment Layer. This way we just got a little bit more control over it. So Effect, and you'll see your last used effect here. It's very, very useful. Add that glow again. And I'm also going to start this glow as soon as the text disappears. I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to start it there because it doesn't glow there. There you go. So I think that's a bit too intense. So I'm going to just increase that. I'm going to decrease that. So 0.5. There we go. There we go. It's subtle. It's very hard to notice, but you do notice it. So I've just cut the end of that just to save render time. Believe me, it does help. So it's had a bit of particles, shall we say. Again, this is entirely optional. It just makes it seem a bit more unique and crazy about it. I don't know. So I'm just going to make a new solid. Particles. Oh, my nose. Excuse me. Go to Effect, Trap Code, Particular. Yes, we're using Particular. You can use Simulation, Particle World, but I just prefer Particular. It's just so much easier to use. So I'm going to drag the particles to the start of my thing, and then I'm going to solo it just so I can see that, and that will also speed up my render times, which is what we want. So let's start off with setting the velocity down to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Just pressing tab and zeros. Great fun. I'm going to change it to a box. So this way the particles just keep spawning like that. Now I'm also going to actually yes. So now I'm going to change the emitter size on the Y and the X. So now it should cover, if I drag that across, it should cover the whole text, but I want it to cover a bit more. Okay, there we go. It doesn't matter about the Z too much. I'm going to add a bit of Z. Just add a bit. It doesn't do too much, but it's still useful. So now, at the moment, we just have particles spawning. That's not what we want. So we're going to add some velocity again. So let's just do that. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, that's not what we want at all. I'm going to press B just to see what I'm doing. So I've got an idea. We can increase the velocity even more so they go completely flying. Like that. But then we add some air resistance. So not Aux systems. Physics. So air, physics, air resistance. So if we just go about there, that's how far we want them out. Let's just increase it. You got to be careful not to do too much air resistance. Otherwise it can look kind of bad. Okay, that's not enough. It's all about finding the magic number. Now, we also want to change the amount of particles that are emitted per second. So I'm going to make a keyframe, drag that to the beginning. Going to go along. Ooh, come on, go to the beginning. I'm going to. Oh, wow, where did you come from? I'm going to go along, I'd say 3 frames and set it to 0, so it only emits for a few seconds, so it just goes psh, like that. But I want more particles, so let's increase that to about 500. There we go. Psh, psh. I'm going to add some motion blur as well, see how that dandy thing looks. Don't know why I called it dandy. Now, to give this a bit more life, I'm going to add some turbulence. I'm going to click visualize fields, and then I'm going to go to the turbulence field and change the effect position. And now you can see how much of the position is going to be affected. So you really want to be messing around with the effect position and scale. So the scale is basically how big it is. The position is how strong it is. So that looks good. I'm going to make the particles smaller and change their opacity over life. So size, let's say 2. There we go. And opacity over life. Now, I'm going to use this preset. Basically, what this does. Oh, excuse me. This is the opacity. This is 100%. This is 0%. So the bars are gonna, they're gonna flicker. But the life is too long at the moment. So let's just put it down. There we go. Okay, that's a bit too much. Let's bring it down a little. A bit more. Let's just say 1. That's 0. Wow, I'm good at counting. I'm good with numbers, me. So they flicker. And increase the life random a lot. Actually, I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna get that gradient ramp and just start adding points. Just clicking randomly. I'm not gonna do it all the way up. I'm gonna increase the size just so you can see what I mean. I think I need to cough a bit more. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now they just seem to be disappearing, don't they? What? Oh, I think I may need to increase this. Yeah, my bad. There we go, that's what we're after. So let's just increase that back down to 1, because I made a boo-boo. So now they flicker when they die. Now, to add a bit more realism, completely optional, we're going to add a camera and some depth of field. So, Control C. You have to Control C. Why does this not work? Oh, yeah, that's because it's 3ds Max. Oh, wow. Rookie mistake there. We're going to add a new camera. I like 50mm because it's a nice prime lens, and it's what the human eye sees at. Perspective-wise, not the angle of view, but the perspective. It sees it as that. So I'm going to press AA, there we go, and turn on depth of field. Now it may look like nothing's happened, but if we increase the aperture, ooh, we see some stuff happening. Increase the blur level. A few more stuff. There we go. Doesn't that look nice and awesome? I'm going to decrease the particle size now because they do look a bit too big. So size back down to 2. I'm going to decrease that blur because you can't actually see any of them. So blur level down, 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 down. There we go. I know this may be a bit hard to see, but the subtle effects are the best. Trust me. I keep bringing it down because I really want to see those flickers. I may just increase the size a tad to 2.5. There we go. That's our flicker needed. Flickr, good website. So let's see how that looks with our text. So I'm going to do a RAM preview. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it sort of adds another bang. It's, you know, like, the way I see it is it adds a shebang to the whole dealio. It just goes whoosh, whoosh. I may just increase. I'm going to go 1 frame forward and move my particles 1 frame forward as well. So now they emit as soon as the text goes. So it's a big whoosh. Again, excuse my coughing. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'd say that fits in rather well. Looking nice. So now we're going to add that fire. So let's just drag it out above the camera. Doesn't really matter. And there we go. That's it. Done. Just kidding. That's terrible. So What we're going to do, I'm going to find the bit on the fire where it's all up in the air. I'm going to draw a circular mask. So click and hold ellipse tool. I'm just going to draw a circle around that. And I'm going to press F to bring up the feather tool, and I'm just going to feather that mask, boy. Now, so if we do that, we get a nice... There we go. Now, we're going to want to cut it about there, and then drag that there. There we go. Now I'm also going to rotate it just so it's a bit more as if it was covering the text. So I'm going to unsolo that. I'm fine, solo. I'm going to stop doing that, I'm sorry. And then we're going to press F4. I'm going to change the blending mode to add, so we can see stuff behind it. I'm going to shrink it down as well because it's a bit too big. Quite a bit big. There we go. I'm going to just move... Yep, there we go. Now that's way too slow. It doesn't look good enough at all. So we right click on the layer. Time... No, not reverse. No, that's not what we want to do. Time stretch. And then we're going to set it to 25. Oh, looks like Tam's playing Tribes now when he said he was going to play this evening. What a liar. So now we have some fire. Now that still looks terrible, doesn't it, kids? Yeah, it does look terrible. Yeah, it looks terrible. Yeah, what a great idea. Now, let's add some colour to this. So I'm going to make a new... actually, I'm going to rename this to glow, just so I'm organised. So just click enter on a layer and it will rename it for you. I'm going to make a new adjustment layer, and then I'm going to place it above the glow. And I'm going to call it colour. Stop playing Tribes, Tam! God. So I'm going to go to Effect, Colour Correction, Etchant. I've turned off the fire, just going to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go to a frame where there's plenty of stuff happening. I'm actually going to place the glow over the particles as well, just so they're a bit brighter. So they look like they'll be affected by the glow. Which they are, which is good. So, cough. We're going to go to the colour, I'm going to put it above the glow again. And I'm going to change the white colour. So I'm going to go for a warm colour to this. We don't want really too much saturation, so it's bright orange. Just something nice and desaturated, and in between orange and yellow. No, red and yellow. There we go. Now it looks very fiery. I may add a little bit of glow to those particles as well. So stylize glow. No, that was the glow layer. My bad, peeps. So just do the same thing. I think that's a bit too much, So 0.2. There we go. I'm going to make that tint happen when the... I'm going to make the tint happen when the effect actually happens. So the oh, that was the camera, my bad. Wow, I'm not on form today, peeps. I keep calling you peeps, I'm very sorry. So it looks like the... So the text's white and then suddenly it turns orange and just goes whoosh. I may put the glow over the colour. Nope, not a good idea. Never mind. So let's see how that looks with the fire, which is way too saturated. We're going to mess with the colour. And a bit too dark for my liking. So let's go to colour correction, hue and saturation, just bring the saturation down a bit. There we go. Go to effect, colour correction, exposure, and then we're going to bring the exposure up. So it's nice and bright. Let's see how that... I'm going to scale that down a bit more. Not that much. I'm probably going to cut a bit later on, so about there actually. I'm going for it, peeps. I keep calling you peeps, I'm so sorry. Wow. Okay. There we go. It looks... But I'm going to scale those particles down. I still think they're too big. Oh, I can never decide over these. 2? I'm going to have to say 1.6 and then add a bit of variation. It's always good to add a bit of variation. That's a bit too much. Let's say 25. It's always good to add some variation. Makes things look random and organic. So, we don't really need to add any glow to that fire since it's already pretty bright. So we can do another thing to make this look even more amazing. We're going to duplicate the fire, and we're going to press Control-Shift-C, and that precomposes it. So I'm going to rename this Displace, and I'm going to move all the attributes. So now we just go into that comp. I'm going to trim this comp so it starts there. So it starts as soon as the fire happens. So then we just drag that back across. So then we have, yeah, it's starting at the same time as the fire. We just turn that off, turn that layer off for now. Go back to here. I'm going to scale this up a tad, move it around a bit, and I'm going to add some contrast. We can turn off the hue and saturation. I'm going to add a bit more contrast. Where is it? Brightness and contrast. There it is. So contrast. Oh. Don't worry, we're not going to be looking at this layer at all. So now we go to Effect, and Distort, and Displacement Map. Ah, no, but we need to apply it to a new layer, an adjustment layer. So New, Adjustment Layer. I'm going to rename this Displace Effect, and then we're going to sniff a lot. We're going to go back to Distort, to Displacement Map, and we're going to apply the Displace layer. And we're going to, yeah, that's fine with those channels. So basically what that did, this layer is acting as a displacement map for the whole comp. So anything which is in that area of the fire, which is in that area, will be displaced by the channels. It's kind of confusing, but it does look very cool. So if we look at that, you can see what happens if I turn that off. You can see what happens to the text. It turns all wobbly like that. So, and the reason why I scaled it up, it just makes it a little bit bigger, and it covers more of the scene because the fire would obviously be emitting heat a bit further out. So let's see how that looks without the fire. Very quick, isn't it? Let's see how that looks with the fire. Oh, look at that. Pew! Pew! It's almost like some bullet is hitting something. Now, you could be over the top and add a flare from optical flares. But I just say don't. It's fine as it is. You can do it if you want, whatever floats your boat. If it's water, that's good. But you just don't need it. If you really want to do it, you can do it if you want. I'm not going to stop you or anything. One more thing we can do. New adjustment layer. Master. I can't even spell. Master. Color. Yes, I'm English and I spell color with a U. Get over it. So, go to Effect. Color correction. Hue and saturation. We're going to add and change the hue. So this way we can go for all sorts of crazy effects. So that's a green effect. Let's see how that looks. Oh, look at that. Wow, it's green. It's like Master Yoda just teleported. Teleported I have. Fun this is. Subscribe, you master this channel. Come on, you must subscribe for that voice. Come on. So I'm going to go for a turquoise or a blue colour. Oh, look at this. Oh, I want to see pink. 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 What does that look like? But I want to see what this is. Oh, look at that. Pink, 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 pink. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Pink teleporting. Would that not be the coolest thing in the world? That you could teleport like that, and it would be pink or purple. It would be amazing. I might add a little bit more radial blur to this. I don't know where this is coming from, but I really want to do it. Actually, I can just do this. No, I can't. Ignore me. Oh, what am I like? Oh, I think it's because I'm zoomed out. I can't see anything. There you go. What's that? That's the liquefy. No, that's not what I want. It's the blur amount. God, silly me. So this way it comes out a bit more. We can see the effect a bit more because the fire does tend to block it out. We might just remove, well, not remove, but lower the opacity of the fire a bit. So it's about 75. Why you no render? Yeah, there we go. We can see it a bit more now. So I'm just gonna see what it looks like at 8 bits per whatever. 8 bits per channel? I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't have the same type of glow. It adds highlights into bits with motion blur, and it looks just, oh, that's so good. So there we go. That is how to make your text teleport. Now you could, if you really wanted to, you could do this with a person. You could cut them out, film a blank frame, film a person teleporting, cut them out, apply this effect to it, that with the whole blurriness, and add some particles in that fire. Whoosh! You've got an instant teleport. So go and have fun. I want you, if you do this effect and put it on YouTube, post it as a video response, because I want to see you guys, your guys' versions of this. See how awesome they are, because I can tell they are going to be awesome, because you guys are awesome. Yeah. So that's how to make your text teleport. Want to suggest a tutorial? Hopefully some more After Effects ones. Hint, hint. Come on. I want some more After Effects ones. I'm getting tired of Fume Effects. Just comment below, send us a message, comment on our channel, but we never really find that bit because it was so hidden in the new YouTube layout. Ow, my elbow. So, yeah, there we go. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.